Vail, Colorado. Snowboarding gears up for the 1998 Olympics. As over 450 athletes from 8 regions across the United States, representing 5 age divisions of men and women, compete for 4 days at the U.S. National Snowboarding Championship.
The U.S. National Snowboarding Championship is brought to you by Northwest Eye Center. The eyes of the world meet at the Northwest Eye Center.
You're looking down from the top of the giant slalom course to the village of Vail, Colorado, the site of one of the most ambitious winter competitions ever held, the U.S. National Snowboarding Championships. Hi, everybody. I'm Karen McElhaney, and with me today is Jimmy Easton of the Vail Snowboard School and last year's overall men's senior USSA national champion. Jimmy, tell us about this great event.
Karen, we're so stoked. We have 300 competitors from the United States and Canada competing for 3 different disciplines: the halfpipe, slalom, and giant slalom here in Vail, Colorado.
Okay, well, today is the last and final day of the competition. You can see the slalom course behind us. The racers are getting ready. Jimmy, how's the weather and the conditions going to be affecting them today?
Well, the weather's great. The snow's starting to soften up, and we should see some scorching times here at the bottom of the course.
Sounds great to me. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back in just a moment and take a look at some of the highlights from the giant slalom.
From all over the world, from over 30 different countries, people travel thousands of miles, seeking the care and expertise of one of the world's leading eye surgeons, Dr. Lawrence Odell. The eyes of the world meet here in Oregon at the Northwest Eye Center.
In the last 5 years, businesses have tripled their reliance on video presentations, because no other marketing medium can deliver the impact of sight, sound, and motion like video. Westcom Creative Group has put together the experience, the resources, the talent, and the equipment to service innovative businesses like yours. So don't be left in the dark. The writing's on the wall. Westcom Creative Group, the mark of tomorrow.
It's post time on Prime Sports Northwest. Emerald Racing Today on Prime Sports Northwest brings you same-day wire-to-wire action of every thoroughbred race of the Emerald Racing Association from Yakima Meadows. Emerald Racing Today, Thursday through Sunday at 11:30 Pacific, plus special holiday races all season long, exclusively on Prime Sports Northwest.
Welcome back to the U.S. National Subaru Snowboard Championship. We're going to start out by taking a look at the first competition, the men's and women's giant slalom. Jimmy, which highlights should we get started with?
Well, Karen, let's take a look at the women's giant slalom, where each competitor gets 2 runs.
Susie Ludeman competes in the J2 class, the 15 and 16-year-olds, and her first run bested her division and was 5th overall.
You can see Susie's having a little balance problem there, but she's getting her hands in front of her, trying to get some speed.
Well, she certainly does. Susie's second run time of 1:38.69 gave her the J2 title. Congratulations, Susie. From the senior division, 19 to 25-year-olds, here's Brooke Milne. What do you think of her style, Jimmy?
Brooke's really railing that board, generating speed through your turns here. She looks like she's having a good, solid run and a time that'll put her in the top 5.
Julie Zell, another senior competitor, was the 5th seed in the finals.
Julie's really starting the turns early here, getting really close to gates and just turning really nice.
Looking very nice there for Julie. Coming up next, Kim Martin from Squaw Valley had the fastest time in the first run, but Jimmy, it started snowing pretty hard for her final run. How did that affect her?
Well, the time started getting a little bit slower as the snow came down, so the competitors have to try really hard to generate speed.
Looks tough. Well, coming up next, we're going to see Lisa Kosglow, originally from Idaho. She's now training in Colorado. She certainly took advantage of Martin's slower final run.
She's putting a lot together here. She's getting really low, keeping her hands in front of her, turning really high above the gate.
Some nice turns there. Her time of 1:37.57 edged out Kim Martin for the senior title by just 0.85 seconds. How does she look coming through those last gates?
She's pulling really hard here to the finish. What a fantastic run.
Wow, looking very nice, and we certainly had a chance to ask Lisa exactly how she did it.
After my first run, I knew I was second in my age group, and I knew that I just had to let it go and just go for it, and that's basically what I did. I just let it go, and I stuck it.
But the fastest total time by a woman this day would belong to Sandra Van Ert, competing in the 26-35 Masters division.
Yeah, usually it is the seniors who log the fastest times of the day. Sandra, at 31 years old, the former NORAM racer, really took it to the course, and you can see here at the bottom, she's just pulling it in here to the finish, really smooth to the bottom.
She has some incredible snowboarding experience and physique to cruise, right, Jimmy?
You bet.
Sandra blasted to the finish with a blistering 1:36.80 and a combined 3:02.86 for the Giant Slalom Championship. Here's a look at the final results of each division winner's overall championship points. The points will be added together after all three events to tally the overall champions in each age group. Now let's move on to the main action from the men's giant slalom. Jimmy, do you wish you were out there?
You bet. Looking at all these young competitors coming up through the ranks, I don't know, it'd be hard to defend my title.
And one of those up-and-coming guys is Nolan Wadland, who logged a 1:24.76 earlier. He's riding in the 17 to 18 J1 class, and he's right up there with the older guys.
Yeah, he sure is. You can see he's got a nice, tall, open stance that allows him to maintain balance on the upper part of the course.
Looking good here. Let's see how he does on the bottom part of the course, Jimmy. Ooh.
You can kind of see him sit down. He put his hand down there. He's going to lose a little bit of speed, but he's right in there.
Oh, he's certainly coming in. He's going to be still looking at a good finish. He screams in, actually, with a 1:23.79 and the J1 championship. And coming up now, we're going to see Spencer Tamblin. He's an excellent all-around snowboarder. He should have a shot at your title, Jim.
You bet. Look at him cruise down this course. He's keeping a really clean line, low and concise.
Looking nice. Coming up, Ryan Brown had a great second run that would jump him from 11th to 5th.
That's incredible. His 1:22.83 was the fastest in the senior division, and you can see here is really steering with his feet, just tearing up the course.
Very nice. Dave Jerome coming up here posted the second fastest time of the seniors on his first attempt.
You bet. This top part of the course is keeping his hands out in front of him, pressuring down on the board and initiating early to finish the turn. He's looking really good up here at the top of the course.
Okay, he's heading into the bottom. We'll see how he fares on the second half, Jim. Let's see how's his technique.
Well, he's finishing just up top here, and as he comes in the bottom course, you can see that as he comes around this turn, he kind of sits down a little bit. It's going to cost him some time here at the finish. He's just going to pull it together, try to salvage his run.
Yeah, well, that's opening up the gate for Chris Massaro. We're going to see him next. If he can keep it together, he's got the senior title sewn up.
Chris knows it, and he's got his hands in front of him, keeping a clean line, pressuring the board, and he just looks like he's going for gold.
Going for gold. Here we go, heading into those Olympics, aren't we? Chris Massaro finishing up on the bottom part of the course. How does it look at this point?
He's just keeping it all together. The course is kind of chewed up later in the run, and he's just trying to pull it together, trying to make it to the finish line as fast as he can.
Finishing with a 1:24.87 and a combined 2:47.25. That's good enough for the senior title. Chris was fast, but Tom Tuttle was even faster, another Masters Division rider who smoked the course.
Tom sure smoked the course, and you can see why. He's just such a big rider, powering down on that board and just cruising through the course. You can see he's just trenching up the course, and it's getting kind of chewed up here at the bottom, but he's just negotiating it. And he's coming in, crashes the gate, and looks like he's just looking for the finish line here, looking for a good time, pulling it together.
Definitely a good time there for Tom Tuttle. A quick 1:21.84 and a combined 2:40.46 for the GS title.
After tabulating the results, we have a clear winner, Tom Tuttle. You smoked the rest of the competition today. How do you feel about that?
I feel really well. Feel really good about what I've done. You know, I had two fairly solid runs. I got down that course. It was a wild ride, and I enjoyed it, so I'm real happy.
Do you think after winning this event by such a huge margin that your confidence in the slalom will be upgraded?
I prefer slalom, actually, to GS, but we'll see. You know, that slalom's coming up, and we'll find out how that's going to go. I like both events equally, so.
Here's times and points for the top finishers in the men's GS. Tuttle, Massaro, and Wadlin will each carry 100 points into the next events as they vie for the overall championship in their divisions.
Here's another incredible video offer from Collector's Classics.
Stand by to order.
It's a history of science fiction television. This must-have video highlights 40 years of sci-fi favorites.
Check 3 o'clock, Rocky. I think there's a meteor pack bearing down on us.
Plus, you'll get 12 minutes of never-before-seen outtakes.
Blooper.
40 years of science fiction television. A real good deal at $19.95.
But wait, there's more.
It's a bonus pack.
Order right now.
And we'll include the hottest collectible in town. It's the special edition of the making of Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
You can't even purchase this video. It's not for sale.
But order right now and you'll get it. A 40-year history of science fiction television and the making of Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
2 videos.
Only $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping and handling. Get your Visa or MasterCard ready and call
1-800-772-4499. Call right now to order. 1-800-772-4499.
We're back at the Subaru U.S. National Snowboard Championship. Jimmy, we know that you're a high-speed kind of guy. Did you get a chance to get out there and tear up the mountain?
Karen, you know I did.
Half cabs, chicken salad, and roast beef. Jimmy, what are we talking about?
You got it, Karen. This is where the freeriders prevail, and the half-pipe is important in the overall title.
Well, the judges were certainly expecting the best. Jimmy, how do they score it?
In the half-pipe, the riders are scored in 5 different categories: difficulty, variety, amplitude, landing, and overall style. Each snowboarder gets 2 runs and is judged for both. Boy, looking up at the pipe here, the course looks to be in great shape.
Here's Lael Gregory, the J1 star from Aspen, in his second ride.
Lael picked up 100 points on his first ride and is looking for more. The see here is pulling out a really smooth run, just keeping a clean line in the pipe, riding, trying to get above the wall on his hits.
Doing some difficult moves, too. The judges scored Lael high in difficulty and style. What are some of these moves, Jim?
You see Lael here just pulling all the tricks out. Here's doing a 540 grab. Nice for the judges here at the bottom. Little sippy to revert. And let's have a look again at that 540 grab. Nice execution of this move for Lael.
Very nice, and Lael's totaling up some good points. It's a total of 317, plenty enough for the J1 championship, and another 100 points for Lael. Some other great performances included J1 rider Blair E. Russin.
Blair impresses the judge here, spinning to win.
Jeremy Bradley finished high in the senior division.
Check out this gnarly J-tear, Karen. He's really throwing it high on the wall here.
Ooh, nice height. And coming up, we'll have an up-close look at senior guy Ryan Mrachek.
Ryan's getting above the wall here, really pumping the transition and working the pipe well. Little fakey 180 to tail grab.
All right, but one of the most impressive riders has to be Hoyt Hottle from Vail, Colorado.
Hoyt is so explosive, and you see him here in his run. He's just an explosive rider, gets way above the wall, and really clean tricks.
Very nice, and Hoyt scored 302 points on his first ride. Pretty impressive, Jim.
Pulling some big backside stiffies, frontside mutes, ollie, and here he's going to throw a nice half cab. Going to finish it off with a full cab, and looking to impress the judges here at the bottom. What's he going to pull? Oh, nice shade tear here for Hoyt Hottle.
Very nice. Amplitude helped Hoyt tally 300 points on his second run, and he has, of course, a shot at the senior halfpipe crown. What's it like wailing through the halfpipe? Check it out as our board cam follows Hoyt's hot ride. The only threat left to take Hoyt's glory was John Cavan.
You can see John here coming into the pipe, dropping in with a variety of tricks and amplitude to get above the wall.
Looks good. How's his overall style, Jim?
He's looking really smooth, doing a number of hits, a variety of tricks, and it looks like he's lining up here for a trick at the bottom of the pipe. Nice Ugarial for John here at the bottom of the pipe. That's really going to impress the judges.
Okay, they certainly do look for difficulty in those moves.
It's a difficult trick. Let's look again at that Ugarial. John's lining up on his toe side wall here. Going to put his hands down. This is an inverted aerial and lands fakie. What a nice run for John.
Ooh, John's ride was good enough to edge Hottle for overall in the half-pipe, but Hoyt advances with more championship points. But the judges liked J1 Lael Gregory the best.
Right now I'm just having a good time, living out in Snowmass, Colorado, training, having a good time. I'd like to maybe plan on going professional for the next year or two and just keep staying with it.
The women were staying with it, Jimmy, including 16-year-old rider Sarah Pearson, who captured the J2 division. And at the other end of the age spectrum, Gamble Fetcher scored enough difficulty points to capture the Masters halfpipe. Rhonda Doyle pushed the senior women with her controlled style. She's low and smooth. What control. And Chrissy Dean took the gold on her first ride and would end up second overall in the senior division. Barrett Christy would need a solid final ride to overtake Dean for the title, and she got one, Jimmy.
You can see how low she gets here in the pipe. This is helping her maintain her speed and get above the wall. This is really going to help her score higher points with the judges.
Terrific ride for such a young rider.
Yeah, she's a young rider coming up through the ranks, and she just busting big old airs out of the pipe. That's got to be impressive.
Extremely. Woo, look at that.
Let's take another look at this replay here. Barrett's getting way above the wall, throws a mean, lean air for the judges.
Barrett's 210 points put her into the top slot in a tight race in the senior division. Showing next the final results of the women's halfpipe competition. Pearson's Wig, Christy, and Fetcher are carrying big points on to the slalom course, but the halfpipe judges liked Christy Barrett best.
I'm ultra stoked here. I got Barrett Christy. She's the highest point scorer in today's women's halfpipe event. How do you feel, Barrett?
Oh, I feel pretty darn good, Jim.
So what did it take to win the women's division? I mean, how did you feel and what kind of tricks were you throwing?
Well, you know, I still haven't figured out what the names of all the tricks are, but it felt good. I think amplitude did it.
From amplitude to fortitude, the slalom is up next.
The Salem Convention and Visitors Association present our community calendar. The SCVA Community Calendar is brought to you by HBO. Watch for these great movies coming soon to HBO.
It's a 2-liter engine. Hot audience out there, guys. Good show tonight, huh? Oh, there's someone from HBO at table 7.
HBO, man, that's where the big boys play.
It's HBO. HBO's for somebody. I'm nobody.
This is a big break.
There you go first. You
You
go
would have
first.
worn my other shirt. Is there really somebody out there from HBO tonight?
Nah, you kidding? Why would HBO come to a dump like this? But they're always funny when they think there is.
If you think you've seen funny before, just you wait.
Welcome back once again to the U.S. National Amateur Snowboarding Championship. Jimmy, we've certainly seen a lot of the athletes, but what about the organization and the people behind this great event?
Well, the USSA, the USASA put together a grade A event. The parents, the organization, and the coaches have done a spectacular job in giving these young athletes a great opportunity to compete.
Well, I think this is a big step towards the Olympics, and that's what we're all striving for, is the Olympics in '98.
The mountain really supports snowboarding. They support snowboarders. They treat snowboard as a vehicle and not a culture. It's the vehicle, and the snowboarders themselves are just individuals out on the mountain having fun just like the skiers are.
Here's a look at the overall men's standings after 2 events. And Jimmy talked to Hoyt Hottle about his strategy to take the overall.
I think I just got to stay conservative. If I push it too hard, I could lose what I might have going for me. So if I just play conservatively and place top 10, top 15, I should have for overall. And that's what I'm trying for.
Hottle would get plenty of competition in the slalom as Richard Sullivan logged the fastest first run of the day.
You can see Richard charging down the course here. He is just shitting the gates, looking really good at the top part of the course, taking a really clean line. As he comes into this delay, you can start to see that his knee brace is starting to come undone. And here in this next turn, you can see the whole thing comes detached from his leg.
That could cost him the title, couldn't it, Jimmy?
Yeah, it's not very good thing to happen when you're competing on a course to have your shin gear wear off.
Well, what a competitor. Ryan Brown, a third-place finisher in the GS, also had some problems on this particular run.
Yeah, Ryan just kind of stepped on it there. Well, kind of gets way outside the course, but makes a nice recovery to come back in. Looks like he just has to get back in the course and go for it.
But the big surprise in the senior class was Mike Thomas, who finished 19th in the GS and was only 11th in the slalom after his first run.
Yeah, Mike here is charging. You can see that he's just working that board, levering it through the course, and just cruising down for a fast time.
Really coming down that hill. He's going to come in with a 56.90. That's for Mike Thomas once again. Coming up next in the J1 division, Antonio Davila performed like a seasoned pro.
Antonio's getting kind of thrown around here at the top of the course, but he pulls it back in through this delay, getting his feet back underneath him, and is thinking, I'm going to maintain my rhythm here.
Boy, does he ever. His final run of 58.24 was hot enough for the J1 slalom title. Congratulations, Antonio. Lael Gregory opened the day with a blur. The sensational J1 smoked a 52.01 first run, fastest in the entire field.
Lael's great here in the slalom course, and he knows all he has to do is keep his cool and place high to win the overall.
Everybody knew that Tom Tuttle was going to do well in the slalom, Jimmy. He's really coming down that course smoking, as you would say.
Yeah, Tom here is a really big guy and technical as you see him come down here through the slalom.
Nice second run. The drama unfolded for Hoyt Hottle. His first run put him in a great position for the overall. He'd need at least a 103 to take the senior overall crown.
Hoyt was running later in the pack, and you know it was going through his mind. He was going for the overall, the course a little chewed up, and he's just taking the course on, but keeping that sense of, I'm going to finish this course, I want to make the overall. And here at the bottom of the course, again, it's chewed up. Hoyt's hanging in there, has a nice run, going to seize the finish line, looking ahead a couple gates.
He's getting down towards the bottom, and let's see what he crossing the line at 1:02.38. That should get him the overall title. We'll see. And here's the final standings and division winners in the men's slalom. Tom Tuttle again proves he's the master of the gates. Here's how the women line up after 2 events. Looks like anything can happen in the J2 and senior divisions, and Van Ert did not compete in the halfpipe, so Fetcher's looking good there. Allie Hoxie is having a good overall tournament, and she could press for the J2 title. She's challenged by Jennifer Sherowski, another one of your students, Jimmy. She's certainly making you proud out there today.
She sure is. It looks like, though, I'd have a hard time keeping up with her. She's keeping her feet really close underneath the gate, taking a clean line, charging for the finish.
Well, she's coming down, and Jennifer finishes with a 51.16 and a total time of 1:48.87, besting Allie Hoxie's 1:49.55. Congratulations, Jennifer. Now here's Gamble Fetcher challenging for the Masters overall.
Gamble's looking smooth up top here in the course, and she goes into her toe-side turn. Oh, she kind of throws it down, and oh, that's going to cost her in her time. She's going to have to get back up and finish the course.
That's going to be a tough one to come back out of. Waiting in the wings, Sandra Van Ert. She's thinking of overall Alpine champ.
Sandra's good in the GS, and look at her in the slalom. She's just charging here to the finish.
Wow, she's coming down nicely, keeping a good time, 51.77. Speaking of charging youth, coming up next, we'll take a look at 15-year-old Stacy Hookham. She led the entire field after the first ride of 52.29.
Stacy's worked all year on staying consistently fast, and she looks like today is her day because she's just on top of her board, steering through the course, looking ahead. Everything's working for her.
Great. Unfortunately, Stacy had a DQ in the giant slalom, or she'd be looking good for the overall. How's she doing here, Jimmy?
Well, she's got a 50-50 here at the bottom of the course, and looks like she's charging to the finish.
Yep, crossing in for an incredible 1:42.79 total time. Lisa Kosglow feeling the pressure from Beth Trombley and Kim Martin for the senior title.
Lisa finished her first run with a 53.78, and you can see here in the bottom of the course, she's just charging for the finish, staying smooth and going for it. As she comes down here in the bottom of the delay, she's just steering the board through the delay, and she's looking for that finish line.
Well, she's coming in, hanging in for a 52.94, and that's enough for the Senior Slalom Championship. J1 Stacy Hookham posts the fastest combined time and grabs 100 points and the Slalom Championship. We'll be back with the final results and the 1993 U.S. National Snowboard Champions.
From all over the world, from over 30 different countries, people travel thousands of miles, seeking the care and expertise of one of the world's leading eye surgeons, Dr. Lawrence Odell. The eyes of the world meet here in Oregon at the Northwest Eye Center.
In the last 5 years, businesses have tripled their reliance on video presentations because no other marketing medium can deliver the impact of sight, sound, and motion like video. Westcom Creative Group has put together the experience, the resources, the talent, and the equipment to service innovative businesses like yours. So don't be left in the dark. The writing's on the wall. Westcom Creative Group, the mark of tomorrow.
In Australia, there's wild beaches, the outback, and Aussie rules football. Full-out, full-blown, full-contact football. The hardest hits, the awesome kicks, and the man in white. There's nothing like it. Australian rules football. It's a kick. It's no holds barred from start to termination. Tuesday, May 11th at 9:30 Pacific.
Welcome back to the U.S. National Snowboarding Championship. Here are the final point totals over 3 events for the women riders. Jennifer Sherowski, Megan Callan, Lisa Kosglow, and Gamble Fetcher all are awarded amateur championship status in their age divisions. For the men, Lael Gregory takes the J1, Hoyt Hottle the seniors, and Tom Tuttle the masters division in a very exciting competition. Here's last year's winner, Jimmy Easton, with Hoyt Hottle.
Thanks, Karen. I'm here with Hoyt Hottle, the overall winner of the senior men's division. Hoyt, what was your strategy today in the slalom to take the overall?
Well, having placed 10th in giant slalom and 2nd in halfpipe, I knew I just had to stay up, stay conservative, and not fall and maybe lose the whole thing. So I just played it safe and stayed up.
I'm here with Lisa Kosglow, not only the winner of the senior women's division in the slalom, but also our overall champion. Lisa, how are you feeling?
It feels great after a season of strenuous training. I trained every day. It's finally paid off for me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We certainly hope that you join us next year for the championship. For Jimmy Easton, I'm Karen McElhaney. Thanks for hanging with us.
The U.S. National Snowboarding Championship has been brought to you by Northwest Eye Center. The eyes of the world meet at the Northwest Eye Center. This has been a presentation of Westcom Sports Production in conjunction with the United States Ski Association.